Hey everybody, welcome back to the RGR Football Channel. This is Daniel Harms. Most of you know me by now, I would think. So to start this off, I want to make sure you guys are liking the videos because Ryan and I really want to get this out there for more Chiefs fans to follow. I think that's very important. We're trying to grow our base. As soon as it really gets to that, that area where it can really just start to explode and grow for more Chiefs fans to follow. That's the idea of this whole thing. So that's very much appreciated. I love you guys coming in and interacting with the videos. So before we get going, I want you to drop in the comment section what's one thing this year that you want to see the team do early in the year. Like, what's one thing you're looking forward to the most from this off season into the first couple of weeks of the season? I want to know what you guys are thinking about that because this video is going to be a lot about what I want to see. It's going to be a rant type video because I think that a lot of these things are things we've talked about over the past few seasons. And one of the big things that I'm looking forward to the Chiefs doing this year is absolutely dominating people at the line of scrimmage because I cannot imagine a better way, to use the offensive line that they just brought in as a complete transformation than to abuse defensive fronts everywhere with these guys. They have huge players. If you just look at Trey Smith, the dude is incredibly big. Like he's huge. Orlando Brown's huge. Thuney's huge. And Niang is bigger than everybody on the offensive line. Creed's going to be a little bit smaller because he's the center, but the fact that they have this offensive line, I don't care if it's in the run game, if it's in the pass game, they need to abuse defensive lines, abuse pass rushers, abuse blitzers. This is an offensive line that you can not only win with, you can set a tone with. Something the Chiefs have not had under with Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback. They have not had an offensive line that can set a tone for the game. That's most important out of everything. I don't really care about how they use it, when they use it. I actually have the Chiefs ranked as one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. I think that they're going to have an above average run or rushing offense in terms of pass block or run block win rate, things like that that are developed from the offensive line. They're going to be very multiple up front. I think that they're going to have one of the best pass block, pass protection offensive lines in the NFL. When things get underway and they get gelled, that's when this all is going to come into happen. I guess I'm a little worried about third rookies being on the offensive line in terms of understanding everything. That's just kind of what's going to happen. But as the season goes along, I think that Niang is probably going to have that starting spot with Remmers right now being missing a bunch of practices because of his back spasms. He's not even out on the field. That's not a good sign. I think the Chiefs need to address the backup right tackle position. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want to see Andrew Wiley at right tackle ever the rest of the time. I know we had that overreaction after the Saints game, but I've come to since he's a guard. I don't believe that you can have him there unless it's dire straits. So I'd like to see them try to bring somebody in that can play right tackle behind Niang now, because I don't think that Remmers is going to be ready. And if he is, that's great. We'll have someone back there. Kyle Long, again, injured too. That's two guys that can play right tackle and right guard that are injured. That's not what you want to see going into the season. So that's something that I think they're going to have to address at some point, whether it's going to be someone on the practice squad or a backup that they have to drop someone else for, because at the end of the day, you need to have this offensive line ready to go and the depth ready to go, because they're coming. This offensive line is coming for defenses. I want to see, like I said, I want to see them abuse people up front, just do everything that you can to dominate the line of scrimmage, give Patrick the time, give Clyde the holes, just get guys moving in these gaps and just throw people out of the way. I want to see bodies flying, not so much the offensive linemen's bodies flying. I want to see defensive linemen's bodies flying across line of scrimmage. I want to see the pancakes. I want to see all of it. That's what I want to see from this offensive line this year. And to go with that, we want to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire have a top 10 running back season this year. I think that's 100% within the realm of possibilities. It wasn't huge confidence booster for me today on Wednesday, seeing Darrell Williams and Jerick McKinnon be the ones getting the benefits of the red zone touchdowns they're working on. I know that's not going to be a season thing, long thing. I think Darrell might sneak in some work there, but that's a little concerning for me just now because I want to see him get in the end zone. I want to see the ability that they have to get his confidence going. You get a running back's confidence going by getting big chunk yards and getting into the end zone. And that's something that they can work with pretty well throughout the season, even beginning of the season, because I think that the Browns are going to come in trying to make them run the football. I think they're going to want them to run the football. And that's a game that I think that they can establish themselves as a really good offensive line and possibly a really good run offense. You can get Clyde moving and getting these things. So camp has really lifted and really made me appreciate more of the offensive line game that you guys know that that's one of the areas that I try to focus in on and be more knowledgeable and try to learn more about it as time goes on. So that's something I'm going to continuously keep an eye on. And since I will be at camp on Sunday, I'm going to do a live Twitter video for you guys as that's going. Not as it, but after it's over, give you some of my thoughts, some things like that. So I'm looking forward to that. And like I said, Clyde, I think is going to have a great year. I want to see him being utilized in the passing game more. I want to see him being the weapon that that he was at LSU. They have the type of offensive line he had in front of him there his final season, and that's the kind of establishment you want to bring with this offense. Yeah, you want to stop us in the pass game? Go for it. We're going to run all over you. We have the ability to do both. The Chiefs have the ability to do both, and I think that they're going to dominate the line of scrimmage going in to be able to do that. Now, Camp has really brought in this Marcus Kemp fire in me. I've always liked Marcus Kemp. I like watching him, especially like watching him in the preseason. I think he's going to make this roster. He's having a much better camp than any of those bubble roster guys down there, and Dieter and Callaway and French, and those guys are not getting those highlight plays. Marcus Kemp is being involved, and he's doing a good job of showcasing not only that, yes, he's a special teams guy and he can definitely be used in that space, but he can be an all around guy. He can make the most of the situation given the fact that teams are going to focus on Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman to an extent, all of that. And I believe that Marcus Kemp can make this squad and actually get on the field. I think that that's a really good option for them. I think that he's outplaying Byron Pringle to this point. He's outplaying Demarcus Robinson, although both have shown good good days and bad days. I think that Kemp's been the most consistent wide receiver outside of Hill and Hardman to this point, because Hardman has been absolutely smoking this defense. He has been getting behind everybody. He's getting loose. He's running better routes. He's getting open. That's what you need from him. And I think that getting a guy like Marcus Kemp, who, yeah, he's probably more of a bigger body that can go get the football in situations like that. I'm going to say it again, Andy Reid. I'm going to say it again. Utilize the players' specialties that you have. Demarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle, Marcus Kemp, all of these guys, Jody Fortson, they can, Noah Gray, the list goes on. They have ball skills. Utilize the ability to go get the football. That's what I want to see. I'm done saying that, just throw it away, because you have now an abundance of players that have good, ball skills at the catch point, can play through contact, things like that, that bring the bigger bodies. Just let them use it. If you guys remember specifically the Browns game 2 years ago in 2008, it's three years now, 2018, the touchdown that Mahomes threw to Travis Kelce in the end zone, that was the high point specialist, the best throw you can make in a situation like that. One of his best throws, but because it was in the red zone and it was so quick, it doesn't get that recognition. That was one of the best throws he's ever made, because only one person can get that football. If he doesn't get it, it's going out of bounds. Travis Kelce goes up and snags it off the ground and snags it up above his head, and it's a touchdown. That's the kind of throw I want to see in the red zone more. And you've got, if Marcus Kemp makes this roster and Jody Fortson finds a way to get in there as like the third tight end, this is what the Chiefs should do. They should just get in the red zone, bring out Robinson, Pringle, Kemp, Fortson, and Kelce. Okay? Just run it that way. And that's all you have to do. And just throw it up to these guys. If not, let Mahomes figure something else out. There is going to be a way, or maybe switch out maybe like Pringle for a Clyde. So you have four wide receivers and bigger wide receivers, and Clyde in the backfield. That way, guess what? We can run the football with our offensive line, or we're going to throw it up to these guys and let them go catch the football. That's what I want to see more of. I want to see them actually get through these red zone, make some changes in the red zone. Things haven't worked out to their advantage in the past. This offensive line's different now. I think that they have a different wide receiver room if Marcus Kemp makes this, and I think that he's a perfect kind of wide receiver to use in that situation. Obviously, Chris Conley would have been one of those guys a few years ago. Something you utilize them a little more. Just use the just use it, please, Andy. Please let these guys go make plays on the football. Let Mahomes do what he can do, and that's throw the ball to where guys can't get it. These big receivers can go get it. Use those hands and get through contact. That's what I want to see. It's what I want to see. So, the very last thing I'm going to talk about today, and when I mention this, just don't it's just my own idea. I think that it was actually something someone commented in on the video yesterday about the cornerback room. The cornerback room. Travarius Ward is an interesting option because I think, yeah, he brings the only veteran presence on the team. But this secondary legitimately has the ability to be a top 5 secondary in the NFL. Hear me out. Hear me out. If Charvarius Ward plays to his 2019 level, okay, I imagine he and Snead are going to be the two guys on the outside. I think we talked about this yesterday. But let's just look at it from the top down. Safeties, Juan Thornhill and Tyrann Mathieu. You have Snead and Hughes. I assume Hughes is going to be a starter early in the season anyway. And Ward. Those three guys. If they just play up to their capabilities, because Hughes was a former first round pick, that's something that the Chiefs haven't had. Okay, we know that Brett Veach doesn't necessarily care about drafting in the first round corners because of what you see here. DeAndre Baker and Mike Hughes are both in Kansas City, both former first round picks. So I can understand not wanting to, especially because the hit rate on first round corners clearly isn't that great. So he's done a very good job of sculpting this defense in the back end to match the physicality and the versatility up front. They're going to be aggressive because he was one of the most blitz heavy. Spags is one of the most blitz heavy defensive coordinators in the NFL. He doesn't care. He is the most. I don't care what down distance it is. If I want to blitz you, I'm gonna blitz you, and I don't care. It does not matter to me. I'll get you next time if he gets beat. Whatever. That's what he does. I think we're going to see him blitz more guys from the linebacker group. I think we're going to see a bunch of different corners start to blitz more this year again. Snead proved to be an extremely efficient pass rusher in blitz situations. So if they can just do that, what they've been doing last year, they were one of the better secondaries in terms of allowing receptions to wide receivers in terms of completion percentage and things like that. So this ability that they're going to have with these corners, these young talented corners, and let's just say DeAndre Baker. Okay, yeah, he's dealing with a little bit of an injury right now. Let's just say DeAndre Baker comes out and he starts outplaying Charvarius Ward in practice. Okay, and you have Snead, Baker, and Hughes as your starting corners in a nickel defense. That right there is the most ideal situation you could possibly have. Snead is a guy who has outplayed everyone's performances expectations outside of Kansas City because, as Ryan pointed out when he was doing his film 2 years ago, he was going to be should have been like a second round pick based off of his corner film, but LA Tech made him move to safety, and he was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll move to safety." And then he comes into the draft as a corner. He drops down the board that way. That is exactly what this whole staff does extremely well. They do their homework. Tershawn Wharton is an example of that. Snead is an example of that. Fenton is an example of that. We're going to see Baker and Hughes in this defense, I think, sooner rather than later. Charvarius Ward is also an example of that. Let's be honest. He was a UDFA. They traded for him, and he became a starter. That's not something you should be able to do all that often. And this team has shown you time and time again they get the most out of these corners. So I can't wait to see all of them on the field. As much as I've liked what Ward's done to this point, I think his ceiling's there. And this secondary, fully healthy, knock on wood, is going to be the best secondary that they've seen in Kansas City for some time, maybe since the very beginning of the Bob Sutton um, defense. Because I think that they had an exceptional secondary around then. Then things started to get different, and Marcus Peters came and left, and things like that. So I think they have some of the best potential at corner and in the secondary than they've had in years. In years, and this is going to be the year that it comes together. I think this defense has top 10 potential to finish the season that way. And up front, they're going to do lots of different things with terms of versatility. Mike Dana, Tershawn Wharton, Chris Jones, all are going to play in three tech and defensive end positions. They're going to be all over the defensive line. I I really believe Frank Clark's going to have a good year. I know that a lot of people don't know if he's going to play. He plays. He's put that weight back on. I think he's going to play very well. This defense legitimately has an opportunity to be a top 10 defense, not just in terms of points scored per game, but everywhere. The linebackers are what they are. But you have the back end in the secondary, and you have a front four that can really get things done. It helps the linebackers do what they do best. And I know that they're dealing with some injuries there too. Just soft tissue stuff. It's camp. We got to figure all that stuff out. They're just getting back into the groove. Again, they have potential to be a top 10 defense in the NFL. I don't know if they'll hit it, but that's what I'm telling you right now is they can coordinate their way to being an exceptionally good defense and much better than people expect them to be based on who's at what position. I really think that they're going to surprise people this year, and they get to do it right out of the gate against one of the best offensive lines and offenses in the NFL, even with a passing offense that isn't what the expectations should be in Cleveland. So I'm excited to see this season. And again, you guys, hopefully I get to see some of you on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to seeing camp up in person with some of you guys, getting to interact and talk and just kind of have a good time there. And again, I will be going live on Twitter during or right after camp is over to give you some thoughts and probably give you guys something you didn't expect. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna want to see that video. So if you're on Twitter, make sure you follow me at In Harm's Way 19. And right now, we're gonna have a good time. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for the live stream with Ryan and Seth, and we're gonna see you guys on Sunday. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.